On today's show, we talk to paramedic and firefighter Sam Palagi about the importance of CPR training and preparedness, and talk about upcoming things to do in our South Shore towns. You can get the bad news in lots of places. On the local scene, it's all about what's good and good to know. I'm Elizabeth. Let's get started. In 1485, the Tudors family seized the throne of England and ruled until 1603 through a turbulent time of wars, uprisings, and the insatiable greed of the Tudor monarchs for the best luxury could offer in the 16th century. We're all familiar with the stories and legends of Henry VIII and his ill-fated wives, Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard, and Catherine Parr, who was the one wife to outlive the ruthless king. If you're curious about what private life was like for these legendary Tudor wives, you'll want to attend the Grounded Good Wife's two-part virtual series, Unveiling the Lives of Tudor Wives. On March 14th at the Duxbury Senior Center, the Grounded Good Wife will present Beneath Tudor Bedsheets about childbirth, contraception, impotence, and other insights into the Tudor bedroom. March 21st presentation will take place at the Duxbury Free Library and is called Thrilled to Meet You, with topics including Tudor life, appetites, and dysfunction. Both presentations begin at 11 a.m. and are also available via Zoom. Register via the Duxbury Senior Center for the March 14th event and visit the library's website to sign up for Part 2, taking place on the 21st. 360 CPR Training is a small business employing local firefighters and healthcare workers and teaches vital emergency preparedness techniques to individuals and organizations. Paramedic, firefighter, and co-owner Sam Palagi sat down with one of the hosts of Open Here, Tiff Phillips, to talk about his path into this field, his experiences, and the importance of knowing how to perform emergency life-saving procedures.
All right. I'm with Sam Palagi. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super happy to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So you are the director. You're first of all, you're the founder of 360 CPR?
I'm a co-owner.
Co-owner. Okay. And you're also a paramedic yourself, which is, do you sleep?
When I can. It's busy. We're busy. But one of the things I love about running a business is the flexibility that it allows me. I take my kids around with me all the time, and I'm in and out of the house too. So I make it work.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Plymouth. So Plymouth was my hometown, and when it came time to move out, I just loved the town so much. I knew it, and I had a lot of friends here, and I met my wife here too, and we decided to settle here.
So what made you get into this field? Is it something you've always been passionate about, saving lives, or?
I knew from an early age that I wanted to do something public service related. Firefighter was always kind of a distant dream to me. I didn't really think that I would get there. I got out of high school, and I finally, after working a couple of dead-end jobs, I said, I've got to do something better. And so somebody at the hospital actually told me, she said, well, if you want to get a firefighter job, you have to be an EMT. So I went to EMT school. I kind of fell in love with the medical field, but I still wanted to be a firefighter. And then I ended up putting myself through paramedic school as well. And while I was going through paramedic school, I got hired on the Plymouth Fire Department.
What was that like for you, getting hired?
It was just a whirlwind. I mean, it was like my life went from I don't know what I'm going to do to this is what I want to do with my life.
So can you tell us a little bit about 360 CPR? What are you guys about?
Yeah, so myself and the co-owner, my business partner, Tommy Betts, he also works as a firefighter up in Hingham. The official company is fully involved, logistics, medical, and safety. And underneath that umbrella, we actually run two companies. Films Production Rentals, which rents out movie studio trailers to the stars. The movie industry is actually becoming a big deal in the state. And Tommy kind of spearheads that. And then down here in Plymouth, I run the other branch, which is 360 CPR. And we focus on workplace safety, CPR, first aid. We're thinking about branching out into some serve safe and food safety courses, basically anything related to workplace safety.
That's awesome. We actually just took the training session a couple of weeks ago. It was really fun and really valuable information.
Yeah.
Do you love it? Like, how is working with people and teaching them to save lives? What is that like for you?
I love it. We do healthcare provider classes, and we also do lay rescuer, which would be people with no healthcare background. And I actually love doing the lay rescuer classes because it's really fun to go out into the community, like your class. That was the first class I've ever taught in a studio, and with cameras all around and everything. It was kind of a cool place. I've done classes on baseball fields for coaches, and it's just kind of cool to get out into the community and teach people a skill that they might not necessarily think they're able to do, and then they realize like everybody can do CPR.
I mean, I happen to know firsthand what a training class looks like. Can you explain what the experience is like?
We come in, we try to make everybody comfortable. We try to show everybody that no matter what your skill level is, disabilities or not, everybody can do something to help out in an emergency. And we try to just make people feel comfortable about that. Most people are really nervous when it comes to an emergency. And we just try to prove to people that, yes, you will be nervous. Yes, it is an emergency, but just some simple acts of keeping yourself safe, calling 911, and then initiating some form of care while you're waiting for an ambulance is easy to do, and everybody can do it.
Do you ever hear stories from trainees about like their experiences? Have you ever had any feedback about a time that they actually had to use?
So we typically start the class by asking people their experience levels. Typically we'll get a couple of hands up, I had to do this, or I had to do the Heimlich, or I actually performed CPR once, and we talk about what went right and what went wrong and what we could have done better. I actually have a really awesome story from this past December. I'm currently assigned as the lieutenant on Engine 2, which is in West Plymouth, and we responded to the Boys and Girls Club in West Plymouth, and for a choking. And one of their kids was choking, and we got there, and one of the students that we had trained, he works there, Ted Donnelly, was doing the Heimlich on her and saved her life.
Oh my gosh!
And it just so happened that we had installed their AED in the next room over the day before that happened. So it was just kind of really awesome to just see that, that kind of training pay off.
How did that feel? I mean, that must have been super rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually started a life-saving award for Ted, and we plan on doing that, anytime somebody in our community, goes above and beyond and saves somebody's life. We gave him a gift card and a certificate, and then we also gave him a Pass It On award where he can give that to somebody else in the community to take a free CPR class.
What a cool idea. Oh, I love that. So do you have any personal experiences in saving someone's life? I mean, you're, as a paramedic, an EMT, you must have a couple that just kind of stick with you.
Yeah, we do see a lot. One of the ones that really does stick with me for CPR related is we had a kid, he was either 14 or 15 years old, went into cardiac arrest. Obviously, nobody wants to deal with a cardiac arrest, but when it's a kid, it's just that much more, stressful. But we ended up shocking him, I want to say 10 to 12 times on the way to the hospital. And just through the quick CPR, the quick actions of the police department that was there, I happened to be on the ambulance at the time, and just my partner and myself, just putting the skills into motion. He was actually talking to his father and the doctors when we left the hospital that day, which was huge.
Wow.
The other one was we had a baby that was born one morning, and the baby was actually born into a toilet. It was a kind of an odd situation, and we had to resuscitate the baby on the way back to the hospital. And it took me 2 years to figure out. I didn't think that the baby had survived, but about 2 years later, on Christmas, one of my supervisors finally came to me and said, I finally got follow-up on that, and that the kid survived and did well. So those kind of stories really do stick with you. I mean, we see a lot, but that kind of stuff just definitely makes it feel like it's all worthwhile.
I mean, you have such a tough job. That kind of probably keeps you going, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure.
So for those folks who are afraid to perform life-saving procedures like CPR, first aid, what advice would you give them?
Anybody can perform CPR. When you're talking about CPR, there are different levels. There's healthcare provider, which would be obviously high performance CPR, but there's also just the act of recognizing that there's an emergency, calling for help, starting some hands-only CPR. For people who don't think they can do CPR, jump online. The American Heart Association has some really great videos on how to perform hands-only CPR. They're really funny. They're done by some comedians. There's some dancing involved. But you can just see how easy it is to perform that hands-only CPR. And if you're interested, come join one of our classes. We've actually, one of the biggest requests we've been getting lately is we get calls from grandparents, new grandparents. And they're like, I never really thought about taking the class, but now that I have a grandbaby and I'm going to be doing some babysitting, I really want to be safe with them. And it's just, again, it's a really rewarding class to teach, because you're not teaching to somebody who has some healthcare provider level training. You're just talking to people who just want to keep people in their community safe.
I usually ask people what a typical day looks like for them, but I'm sure as a paramedic, it's kind of hard to say like what a typical day is. So what does a typical week look like for you?
A typical week, lately we've been really, really busy. I have a few instructors on my roster, and I found myself out there teaching more and more classes myself too, because the phone has just rung off the hook. I think current events with Damar Hamlin, and the football tragedy that turned into a great ending, but our phone just started ringing off the hook with people who realize now how important it is to be able to perform the skills that we teach. So my typical day starts off with a big cup of coffee, and I open up my Google Calendar, which I would probably not show up to where I need to be if I didn't have, and I just have to prioritize and go through my emails and make sure our schedule is filled.
It's great to see that people love what they do. Like, it's really, the best part of my job is I get to do these kind of interviews and talk to people who really care about and are passionate about what they do. Would you recommend this field to others?
I would highly recommend this field to others. Just think a lot and learn a lot about what you're getting yourself into. You have to have a passion to work in emergency services. You have to love what you do. It's long hours. It can be hard. It can be backbreaking, but it's also really rewarding.
What does the future have in store, do you think, for 360 CPR? I'm sorry, your larger company name.
Sure. Yeah. I don't see us stopping anytime soon. Like I said, we've been busier the past couple of months than we've ever been. It's great to see all the positive feedback that we've been getting from our past customers, posting things online. My business partner, he's really into social media, and everybody's been following us and everything. So I think where we go is we continue to serve the community, continue to serve businesses, add some different products. Like I said, we're thinking about getting into the restaurant industry and trying to do some food safety courses and everything. And just continue with our goal to try to get as many people trained as possible and get life-saving equipment out into the public.
And what do you think the future has in store for you?
I'm going to get tired one of these days. I really love my job. I love the town that I work for. The people I work for are really dedicated, hardworking people. They all love their job, even if they might complain from time to time. We're all really dedicated to this town, and so I'd like to see that career through, until retirement age. I'd also like to continue to grow 360. Probably need to hire a few more people coming up. And then I'd like to see my kids, as they get older, just understand that, as they get older, it's really important to find a career path that's rewarding to you, no matter what that looks like. Pick a meaningful career, serve others, and I'm hearing from my son now that he might want to be a firefighter too, and I'm not going to try to talk him out of it, but I'm going to try to show him all the ins and outs of it and see what he decides when he gets older.
I love that. That was a perfect way to end this interview. Sam, thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me in. This was fun.
Ancestry Library Edition is available for free to the public, all with a visit to your library and use of your library card. On Thursday, March 30th, learn how to access billions of records in census data, vital records, photos, and more. In this small class, limited to 5 participants, you'll learn how to search more than 7,000 databases comprising family histories, immigration records, court and legal documents, maps, and military records. Learn more about who you are and who you came from. This program runs from 2 to 3 p.m. contact Stephen Miller at smiller@kingstonma.gov or call 781-585-0517, extension 6272 to register. If you're always first in your family or group to recognize a melody and name that tune, don't miss the Pembroke Council on Aging's Name That Tune event on Wednesday, March 15th at 2:30 p.m. Entertainer Linda Chokran will keep you chuckling with her hilarious humor and fun prizes as she tests your lyrical recall. This program is sponsored by Duxbury House Memory Care residents at the Village at Duxbury, who will be providing a treat at the end of the show. Call 781-294-8220 to sign up. Thrifting is a sustainable and eco-friendly way to add unique items to your wardrobe, but the key to feeling great in what you wear hinges on a perfect fit for your body type. On Monday, March 20th at 5:30 p.m., visit the Plymouth Public Library for the free program Uplift Your Thrifts. Bring an item you'd like alteration advice about and learn some tips that can transform that thrifted item with potential to a standout reflection of your personal style. Sewing knowledge is helpful, but not necessary. Visit the Plymouth Public Library website to register. After the American Revolution, the town of Duxbury refocused its energies on the opportunities presented by fishing rights on the Grand Banks and began to build large schooners and ultimately merchant fleets, which traded all over the world. By the 1840s, Duxbury was the largest producer of sailing vessels on the South Shore. On Wednesday, March 29 from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m., visit the Duxbury Senior Center for The Tide Would Call Us Home, a program about growing up in shipbuilding Duxbury during its most prolific years of 1800 through 1850. Register online at the Duxbury Senior Center website. There is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. So said poet Amanda Gorman, inspiring the title of a March 30th benefit show organized by Plymouth Public Schools Interact Clubs. Be the Light will be 2.5 hours of student talent combined with community support to help ease the burden of families coping with a pediatric cancer diagnosis. This year, all money raised from Be the Light will be donated to Lucy's Love Bus, a Massachusetts charity that supports families coping with pediatric cancer and whose mission is to deliver joy, comfort, and quality of life to children with cancer and their families through free integrative therapies and holistic support. This can take the form of massage, yoga, meditation, acupuncture, music therapy, and therapeutic horseback riding. Integrative therapies have been shown to ease children's pain and anxiety during and after traditional medical treatments. Lucy's Love Bus raises money to help fund the many aspects of care that insurance doesn't cover, focusing on the mental and emotional struggles of growing up with a cancer diagnosis and the mental and emotional support needs of the entire family. It is a wonderful nonprofit organization. Be the Light will take place at Plymouth North High School. The show starts at 6 p.m. Please help support the efforts of our talented and generous Plymouth students and make this first annual benefit event a success. Visit the Eventbrite page to get your tickets. Armageddon Time is a coming-of-age drama starring Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong, and Anthony Hopkins. Written, directed, and produced by James Gray, this film is inspired by Gray's own childhood experience as a young Jewish-American boy whose friendship with an African-American classmate inflames conflicted emotions about growing up in a world of privilege, inequality, and prejudice. See this 2022 deeply moving film at the Pembroke Public Library's free movie matinee on March 27th at 1:30 p.m. Visit the library's website for more details. It can be so fun to make a mess, and kids up to age 11 are invited to the Kingston Public Library for a fun afternoon of messy painting in the library courtyard, and you don't have to worry about the cleanup. The fun takes place on March 23rd at 2 p.m. This month, you'll be painting using straws to create amazing designs. Visit the Kingston Public Library website to register and learn more. March 18th is Museum Cleanup Day at Plymouth Patuxent Museums, and they welcome volunteers to help. Join museum staff to tackle the projects that will prepare the museum for a new season. Everything from painting to raking, exhibit setup, and lots more. There is plenty to do. The museum is pleased to offer a complimentary pass for a future museum visit as their thanks for your hard work. You can choose to register for half the day from 9 a.m. to noon, or work on more large-scale projects and spend the day until 3 p.m. Lunch will be provided for all-day volunteers. Sign up and learn more important information via the Plymouth Patuxent website. The Plymouth Bay Cultural District invites you to fall in love with Plymouth on March 19th at the Plymouth Center for the Arts. Join local poets and writers for an evening of poetry and storytelling in celebration of this historic and culturally dynamic town as expressed through the written word. Open slots for performers are still available. If you're interested in performing your original work, contact Stephen at plymouthpoetlaureate@gmail.com. And that's what's good and good to know on the local scene this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. We are grateful for your attention. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to the local scene here and share everywhere. Thank you, friends.